Hello, good evening, welcome back to Rangers Radio. Liverpool 2, Rangers 0. In a strange game at Anfield, John myself, Oxford back in the show is Juicy and Jaffer. Evening, gents. Evening, Jaffer. Evening, Juicy.
Hi, Ox. How you doing, mate? Thanks for having us back on. Hi, Juicy.
Good evening, guys. Good evening.
All right, look, the best team won, no doubt in that, and thanks to Alan McGregor, he kept the squad down. But positives for me, the boy Leon King. I thought Connor Golston played well. But big players, Tavernier, distribution poor, Borner non-existent, Ben Davies steady in his role, King and Golston all right as far as I'm concerned. John Lundstrom, arguably one of his worst games in the Rangers jersey, I think. Maybe the occasion got to the boys. Stephen Davis poor, Morelos poor, Tillman getting past him by, and Ryan Kent atrocious. And that's my opinion. Half a team, we competed, done okay. We can play a lot better. Game on for next week. Jaffa?
Can't disagree with that, Ox. Yeah, similar thoughts myself. Just nothing stuck, no cohesiveness, no joined up play. I thought the forward line were very poor, and I thought the back line were okay. They done their job, but I thought the tactics were wrong. Well, we held the result, but we had nothing going forward. And Tillman game passed them by, as you said. Kent, I thought, was very, very poor, and Morelos, I thought, was very poor as well. Never really got in the game at all. The opportunities they did have, they just there was nothing worked, nothing stuck up top. So that was my interpretation of it as well, Ox.
Yeah. Obviously, we tried something in the shape. Juicy?
Yeah, it was a back five, which is what we kind of expected because it worked reasonably well against Napoli, but we didn't give ourselves any kind of ability to get the ball up the pitch or retain possession, Ox. And they just ran through our midfield with ease, and we saw hardly any of the ball. I think in the first half, we barely got 6 or 7 passes together before it was broken up.
Yeah, and a lot of the passes and a lot of the play broke down was poor passing with us. Let's be honest. And that's the annoying thing, Jaffa.
Yeah, it was. I thought Tavernier's his possession,
Nightmare. He had a nightmare.
Oh, he was awful. He was really poor, Ox. And as I said at the start of the show, prior to Ox, if you're going to go to places like that with the quality that you're up against, and let's not be kidding about it, they're a brilliant team. But they never got into third gear tonight, to be honest with you, did they really? They didn't have to. Because we never matched them up for a game, Ox. We just never went toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, and a lot of the chances in that we gave individual errors at different parts of the pitch. Even the first goal was a free kick, wonderful free kick with a boy. But Ben Davies shows his maybe a lack of game time, getting too close and getting a cheap free kick again. But again, it was a ball out the wing to Tav. We gave it away cheaply, I think. This is just from memory, and it went into the middle and he has to make a tackle. The second goal, I don't know if it was just me, Juicy. I know it's a penalty, and I know it's 70 yards for the goal when it ends up. But Ryan Kent dallying with the ball, and the next thing they clear it like a schoolboy. He does nothing with it. 25 yards for goal. He's going to pass it or shoot. Pass it or shoot. Yeah.
I think that was indicative of his performance in the entire match, Ox. He was atrocious for the entire match. A couple of chances, very few chances, very few times where we were able to get the ball away. And he's in a position. He makes the wrong choices every single time, and so it was no surprise to me that it was him giving up the ball there, making life difficult for our defence. The only 2 points that I thought were good from this match was McGregor showed once again what a top level keeper he is, and in relation to Kent, I think the substitutes were reasonable for the short time that they were on the pitch. And yes. I would say Matondo and Sakala have given some serious food for thought to be starting against St Mirren at the weekend. And I would love to see that. I would love to see them get an opportunity because Tillman was non-existent and Kent was atrocious.
Yeah, again, past the boy back. You've got to learn for some. We played him at their place in the sort of right-hand side up front, and the game past his pipe. We've done it again, still in position. The boys, Giovanni, please learn. Yeah, learn. We'd have been better with Scott in there with just a wee bit of experience and a bit of muscle. I think the idea was we played that chip up to the right-hand side, and it was for Tillerman and Tav. I don't think it worked all night, Jaffa.
No, it didn't, Ox. It didn't, and I thought, I spotted that was what the tactic was prior to the match, and I thought that's what they were going to try and, utilise that. But as you said, it didn't work once. In fact, it caused us more trouble than it was worth. I think after about 10 or 15 minutes, you could see that Tillman, after his initial burst in the game, he had lost kind of interest in the match, to be honest with you, because it was a shift that was required, Ox. It wasn't going to be about pirouetting and slalom runs up to the box. He's a number 10 clearly, but he's a forward thinking number 10. He needs to be at the edge of the 18-yard box or in and around there. He's not a defensive midfielder, and he can't play that role. So like you said, he's got to learn. That's twice we've asked him to do that, and he can't play that role. On the point Juicy was talking about Matondo, I don't know what he was on the park, 8 or 9 minutes, 11 minutes or something like that, and I think his first movement where he just hit the ball into space in behind Trent Alexander-Arnold and got beyond him with pace. And I thought, why did we not have him on at the start? But you make your choices, don't you? To pick the team. Got to run with it.
Aye, I'm sure. I mean, look, you win as a team, you lose as a team. We didn't play well. Some of our experienced pros, Tavernier, Lundstrom, maybe Barisic, Stephen Davis. At times was poor the night. Morelos, Tillman and Kent, mate. So you're really struggling because they didn't play well. And I'm talking about just simple passes at times, just a year.
Yeah, the simple stuff. It's hard when you're not seeing a lot of the ball anyway, Oxjo, but you're always going to get moments and you're going to get opportunities. And when I said they could barely string half a dozen passes together, that's when you're not even doing the simple things right, And we've got to acknowledge the quality team that we're up against here. I'm not going to totally slam our team. We know we're up against it. We know it was going to be really, really difficult in this group. And we know that all three sides in this group are levels above us. And that's unfortunately where we are. But we still want to...
Yeah, that Napoli were lucky in the night, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, just a tight game, a tight victory against Ajax. But we still...
Do you know what summed it up, Juicy? Do you know what summed it up? There was a moment in the game, we go forward, we had the ball 30 yards for goal, Warner's made the run, there's a simple pass, Kent decides to pass it to Hollywood, but outside his boot, and passes it out the pitch. Yeah. Anyway, it wasn't just his fault we lost, but he was the process. Right, are you ready for this therapy?
Yes. Let's get them in.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Floor's yours, Jaffa. I've had my rant.
Yeah, Ox, just disappointed. I said at the start of the show we needed 11 guys on their game. I don't think we even got half of them on their game, to be honest with you. I thought Big Golson was decent tonight. He was good. Put his body on the line. I thought Leon King was good. Given that he gave the penalty away, but overall I thought he was good, and his position was good, and he did get into the game a lot. But other than that, Ox, Ben Davies, yeah, Alan McGregor, obviously. But sadly, that was it. It stops about there, I'm afraid. I don't really see the subs when they came on. Thought Big Cholak, again, got a chance more than what Morelos had done in 80-odd minutes or whatever it was. And I thought Matondo actually looked pretty decent on that left wing, I have to say. That pace is pretty frightening.
Yeah, we want to see more of it. He needs to be consistent. 10 minutes cameos only quite enough, but if we get a hung in the game, bizarrely, but we never sort of buts and maybes. We had 2 chances in the last 5 minutes. Well, 3 chances. One, obviously, we got the Matondo one that the guy miraculously kicks off a line juicy. Then for the corner, Sholak gets a chance to run for it, and the goal makes a good save. And then a couple of minutes later, a great tackle from Milner just as Sholak's about to strike it for the extra ball. So bizarrely, things could have been different.
It was the most exciting part of the match, wasn't it? The last 10, 15 minutes. I mean, look, I don't think any of us were surprised that Matondo didn't start. He's not exactly performed to a level that we've been thrilled with this season, but you can only treat them as you see them. And he did well in the minutes that he was on there. He did okay against Hearts. I think there was some things that he was lacking a little bit, but he did show some moments against Hearts. And Sakala is barely featured, so why not give the kid a run out against St Mirren? Play him on the right, which is his preferred position. Play Matondo on the left. Take Kent out, and let's see how they get along. Kent's not doing anything for us guys at the moment. Doesn't matter who the team is.
Well,
doesn't matter if it's SPL or Champions League.
Well, he made one. And
totally checked out.
He made one, scored one. I'll tell you what, if I was his agent and I was Morelos' agent, I'd tell him we're going to get a contract signed. You know when I'm coming for there, Jeff, for it.
Oh, 100%, Ox, because there'll be nobody else there. They'll be offering them contracts on those performances. It's and the thing that's very frustrating is Morelos maybe to a lesser degree, but Ryan Kent has got such a talented footballer, and I don't know where he feels he's got to, where he thinks he fits in. But what Matondo done in the 9 minutes or 8 minutes he was on the match on the park, in the first minute that he was on the park, Ryan Kent has got that in his locker. He used to do that all the time, get to the byline. He stopped doing that. He doesn't do that enough for me. He doesn't do it at all anymore.
I think we might be joined for Jim. Sorry, how are we doing, Jims?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm okay. Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Good. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I think it was a huge task tonight. Playing Liverpool side, who any Liverpool side in the last 20 years has been a really good side to play against, and I think we got them tonight where they're a wounded bear and they haven't been playing so well in the Premier League. They're sort of halfway down the league. They're not playing as well as they should be playing. We put out a team tonight to face them, which was a good enough side. Our tactics was to defend. We set up to defend, and it wasn't as good a defending as, say, Walter Smith might have done when he parked the bus on him years ago, when we had a team which were playing other teams which cost 5 or 6 times more than our team cost. Today, we had a team out there who played as well as they could, but we were up against players who cost, I'd hate to think the price of the players we were playing against. But we didn't let ourselves down. We kept the score to 2-0, and I'm proud of the boys for the way they played and tried to play some football, and it was very, very difficult at times. We were up against a better team, and we did our best, and that's basically it. If you look at how we lost our goals tonight, we had a set piece, and the fullback took that free kick, and that was an unstoppable free kick. No goalkeeper, I think, in the world could have done that, apart from McGregor. I think McGregor could have saved that if he'd have been about 10, 15 years younger. But McGregor was our best player tonight. He stopped.
He's my number 2 goalkeeper.
Yeah, he may be a number 2 goalkeeper in some people's eyes, but we're talking about an experienced Rangers player. And when you're a Rangers player and you've played for Rangers, it means a little bit more to you than somebody else that comes in place. I know they all get paid wages and they all want to do their best, but at the end of the day, you're talking about die hard, and McGregor tonight was absolutely superb. In fact, McGregor was man of the match.
Yeah, he was for both sides. Jaffa?
Yeah, can I disagree with that, Jim? I thought some of the saves he pulled off, in particular in the first half, were, it was like Alan McGregor 50, as you say, 15 years ago, getting down to his left, down to his right, hitting off his heels. Yeah, he was spot on. Barring an absolute wonder free kick, and it was a wonder free kick. As you say, not many goalkeepers would save that, but I think a lot of those instances, Jim, if we go back to the open play of it, a lot of them were self-inflicted just because we were giving the ball away. We just couldn't hold the ball up, even in the halfway line. We couldn't make it stick. I thought our decision making off the ball into space where passes could take place was really poor. It was as bad as I've seen as from a forward line. And the old adage in football is that you defend from the front. And I don't think we've done any defending tonight at the halfway line. We didn't help the defensive setup.
The two situations I'm talking about, Jaffa, and I'm not blaming Ken, but I'm just saying that the whole performance. But that one where he passed it out when we broke away, Warner's done a 50-yard run to go by him, simple pass. And then the one that he's running through in the second half, I think he gets about 22 yards for goal. There's nothing with it, mate. Just gets caught. Yeah, and the next thing it's a penalty. These are bad decisions. Yeah, bad decisions. You've got to be quicker. There's no excuse for it. They're professional footballers. Anyway, talking about professionals, we'll be joined by Smurf. How are we doing, Smurf?
Aye, no bad, Ox, no bad. Just to pick up on what Jaffa was saying there about defending for the front. I know the boys know a number 10, but I would have fancied Kamara in that role for that reason, for the legs, and he can, he's a good footballer. I don't know, the boy Tillman, I never thought he was going to be in the game, and Davis at that level, I love Stephen Davis, I absolutely adore him, but at that level and at that age, I don't think he should have played tonight. We needed legs, and Kamara would have certainly gave us that defending for the front, and is intelligent, would play the right ball at the right time. So I don't know. Certainly for myself, I think that's something we should be thinking about for next week.
I don't know what the deal with Tillman. I don't like to say it, but I agreed with Andy for Leeds before the show. Don't tell him I said that. And you come, Juicy.
Smurf's absolutely right. We've seen this 2 or 3 times now already, haven't we, guys? That Tillman doesn't work on that right side of the pitch, and I'm not actually going to slam the player too much because we've seen him play far better when he's utilised in that number 10 role. We know it's a problem position for us, but we know that he clearly isn't the answer. You don't have to be the manager of the club to know that. Why we continue to play him in that position, and also we've played him very fleetingly recently, and we're bringing him into a match like that and play him out of position. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Tillman on the right makes as much sense to me as cutting the tax. The Chancellor, that's another story, Jeff.
Yeah, you did say that, to be fair, Ox. You said that when the teams came out, I think that was one of the areas you had a question mark over was Tillman on the right-hand side. Got to agree with Juicy there. He's not been in the team a lot recently. I think he's a forward-thinking number 10. I don't think he's got a defensive shift in him. I think he gets caught. He doesn't want to chase back. He's not get that box to box bit of his game. He's a lovely player. I have to say, and I agree with Juicy. It's not on the player. That's on the manager for choosing him and putting him there. I would have thought an Arfield or even a Ryan Jack on from the start, rather get 60 minutes out of Ryan Jack at the front than at the back end.
Yeah, and you come, Jim. What was your thoughts?
I think Gio picked the correct team tonight. And I'll tell you why. Because he knows the team better than we do. And he knew what his tactics were on the night. And his tactics tonight was to not lose too many goals, keep it very, very tight, especially across the back. And that's why we had Liam King, we had Goldson, and we had Ben Davis there. He wanted to make sure that we weren't going to lose goals. That's what he done, and it was the right decision. If he'd have played a different team and played Kamara, I don't think Kamara would have made any difference to the start of the game. I think Gio picked the right team. Unfortunately, Liverpool were better on the night, and they knew where to pass the ball. Their passing was crisp, it was decisive, whereas our passing was more anxious, and it was more sort of, it wasn't precise.
You're being polite there, Jim. It was crap.
Well, we're playing against better players who cost a hell of a lot more money than our players are. So they are better players.
The money doesn't come into it when you've got the ball at your foot and you've got a 10-yard pass to make. It doesn't matter.
Well,
if you're
no,
getting £1,000 a week.
I've got to disagree. I've got to disagree with you there, because I'll tell you why. These players, if you look at the cost of the Liverpool team, they don't cost that amount of money because they are not better players. They are better players.
I never said they weren't the better players, yeah? What I said was...
all I'm saying is...
Jim,
they are better players, and they cost more money, and that's why they're better players.
Jim, if you're going to... Let me finish, Jim.
Oh, sorry, carry on, sorry.
Right, let me finish before I bring in Billy. Yeah, Billy, just wait, Billy. Right? You might earn £1,000 a week or £100,000 a week as a professional football player. You should still be able to pass the ball 10 yards. Doesn't matter what you're worth. Jaffa.
Jim, I think I get your point. The players
I'm not saying they're no better players, Jim.
No.
I'm not saying that.
Because they get paid more money, Jim, doesn't mean to say that they're better players. I mean, there's a lot of players out there getting paid a lot of money that are not so good players and just manage to have a good agent that's negotiated a brilliant contract. But listen, look, in essence, correct. I get your point. Liverpool they're a litany with absolute wonder footballers in their team. But I thought tonight, defensively, the tactics. I'm not disagreeing with Giovanni's tactics. I think his setup, his intentional setup, what he was trying to do was correct. He was trying to keep it tight. He was trying to keep the team, try to stay in the game, not lose a barrage of goals. I get that. I understand all of that. And from a defensive point of view, and Alan McGregor had a wonder night as far as the amount of saves. I mean, in the first 15 minutes, it could have been about 3 or 4-0. But from middle to front, Jim, we were really poor tonight. We were really poor. The front guys didn't do their job. There wasn't one from midfield to forward line. I don't think any of them had a pass mark tonight.
And do you think that the reason for that is because our players are as good as their players, and they thought that something otherwise?
So, Jim, at the start of the game, you may recall Ryan Kent broke away on the left. We broke out of defence. He got the ball. He intercepted the ball, and he had a wee pirouette. He had a wee half pirouette, and it was a lovely move. And he spun away with the ball, and then he stopped. And Borna Barisic had made an overlapping run into the left-hand corner up to back by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he attempted to play the ball with the outside of his foot, and the ball went out of play. He had that pass on. And I think Jamie Carragher actually commented on it. He had also James Tavernier breaking on the other side of the pitch. He actually had about 2 or 3 passes on. He had one right into the middle of the park as well. But he chose a pass that wasn't even on.
Do you think that?
Jim.
Yeah, go on.
Jim.
Sorry. Go on.
Right, Jim, just wait. We'll be joined by Billy. Evening, Billy.
Hi, hello. Hiya.
Hello, mate. What's on your mind?
My thought in my mind is I'll let me think about it in 10 seconds.
Right, I'll give him a lot tomorrow, Billy. We'll not get time. Right. I apologise, Jim, for interrupting you. Billy, you need to be sharper. You're going to come on. You need to think about it, yeah? You've got to laugh, Smurf, haven't you?
You've got to laugh. You've got to laugh, Ox. Absolutely, you're 100% correct in everything you've said there. Although they're fairly obviously in a different league to us, figuratively and literally, when you've got simple passes on that are 10-metre passes that, anybody could make, then they should be making them. There's no way that the decision making for Ken ultimately it was atrocious. He wasn't in the game, and when he did have an opportunity where he could maybe have exploited something, he either stopped and had indecision, or when he did make a decision, it was a wrong decision. And it wasn't because he earns less than the other guys or because these guys are wildly better than them. It's just obvious passes that anybody at any level should be able to make. And for me, he's played himself out of the team. Either Sakala or Matondo's got to start in the next game. And I'd be interested to see how Giovanni sets up his team at Ibrox if he plays 3 central defenders across the back. And if a boy King starts, will he play Sands instead of Stephen Davis in midfield to give us a bit more solidity in there? And a bit more involvement. But no, you're right. I mean, simple passes, couldn't make them, and you're going to get punished,
Yeah, we do give the ball away cheaply. You make it easy for them. No, don't get me wrong. The movement was great. Some of the breaks, the way they break, the number of players they get forward, the players were defending well, juicy. But a lot of them packs came from
back.
Talking about indecisive. We've been joined by Billy. Hurry up, Billy. After my working month tomorrow. Hurry up. What's on your mind?
I know I've got a curry on. I don't know.
Nan-breed or rice?
Nan-breed. Aye. You can't beat it. I'm back in Hamilton. Away for Easter House.
Billy, hurry up.
Right. The fact of the matter is, 2 points. Should have Cholak on. Another one was, do you think Gio is good enough? Because
Gio,
I'm having my doubts.
Gio was in the pitch.
I know.
All right,
I'll
take that as Juicy. Juicy, I would have started Morelos. It didn't work.
You mean I said that months ago?
I would have started Morelos. Juicy, in you come.
I think a lot of the Rangers fan base had a lot of thoughts on whether you'd go with Cholak or Buff. I think as far as Alfredo goes, the history was there, wasn't it, Billy, in terms of how well he's performed for us in Europe and the ability to hold up the play, etc., etc., etc. So I don't think anyone really had a problem with Alfredo starting, even those that we all love how good Cholak has been, but you have to look at the probabilities and the fact that you're not going to get a lot of the ball, and it doesn't matter how good your striker is if you can't get the ball to him. So you remember when we went to UFC and the whole team was terrible, people were criticising Cholak. Well, no one even got the ball to him. So it doesn't matter whether you're playing USG or you're playing Liverpool. If the striker's isolated, then it's going to be hard for him. So I didn't have a problem with Alfredo starting. But we weren't able to get the ball.
I totally understand that. But there was, when he took over Rangers, a comment on this page, Rangers page, that would he be playing kind of slow Dutch football? And I think
listen, Billy, you're going to enjoy your curry. We'll catch you later, crap. Right. Right, I think he's been at the Tiger stuff, right, with his curry, right? He's got good points. I don't want to talk about the manager, but I would have started Morelos, Jaffa. It didn't work. But the two guys either side of him, I thought, one, the game passed by Tillman, and the other one, where he did have a chance to shot, was poor. Throw in the fact that Lundstrom and Davis were poor as well. I mean, there was one in the second half when Lundstrom missed the ball. That summed his night up. And Stephen Davis, he had a simple pass to, it might have been Tillman or tap it to the right and put it right out the park. So the kind of things that Stephen Davis does. They two were atrocious as well, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah, middle to front, Ox. We were miles off it tonight. I mean, miles off it. There wasn't any one, you know, there was no triangle passing, 1-2s, people covering into the space, reading the space in between the lines. You know, when I hear what all the guys are saying, and I agree in essence with that Liverpool are. I said that at the start. They're a brilliant team. They're a great team. But when you've got the ball, you've got to at least try and stick and make it work, especially from the forward line. And as I say, go back to the point about defending for the front, in particular nights like that. So you allow people to break out and then join up. Tavernier, to be fair, never got a chance to get out in the first half. I don't think I saw Tavernier beyond the halfway line. I mean, Barisic, I think we saw him once. And I don't know, Ox. I mean, were we over-conservative? Did we give them too much respect? I know they're a good team, but you saw in the second half when we actually opened up a wee bit, we pushed them back. And I know the game's gone by that time. I get it, it's 2-0. Well, it's not gone, but I know you're getting to the last 5-10 minutes of the game and people are starting to, substitutions are taking effect. They'd made a few subs. But was there an element that we maybe gave them too much respect?
Maybe in hindsight, the shape was wrong. I thought that Ben Davis shows enough to show us that he can grow into a player. I don't believe he'll be 100% match fit, and I think he'll be better for that game of day. He'll get another game with Connor, maybe on Saturday. He done all right, and I think the boy Liam shows he's got enough to play for years to come as he develops.
Oh, undoubtedly, Ox. We know there's a good player there. We've seen that from when he was at Preston. We just haven't seen enough of him yet for Rangers. And you know, we've got plenty of matches this season, so he's going to get plenty of opportunities. And he'll probably, hopefully, become, you know, one of the main men in that centre-back position, especially with him being, you know, left-sided as well. It was just it was a hard match for the whole team. So it's hard just slamming individuals, but we know there's a couple of people there who just are not on form in general. One of them being Ryan Kent. You know, that's why he's getting, you know, continues to be hammered, because he's not doing it consistently in league matches, is he? And you know, but we'd rather the manager just makes changes to bring in players to give them opportunity if someone's poor. But when you see players like Kent and previously Goldson, who's, you know, not always been terrible, but he's had a few moments this season, hasn't he?
When they to the break there was poor, mate. He's been poor, but the last two games he's been excellent.
Exactly. But when people were poor consistently keep their place, as Kent has done, when we've got other wing options now, that is where you think to Gio, what are you doing? Tillman, repeatedly playing him out of position. So, you know, when Billy there was mentioning about Gio, I still like Gio, but there's a few things there that he doesn't appear to have learnt from. Tillman is no good on the right-sided position, clearly. You know, we've got a reasonable home match at the weekend. I don't want to slam them because we know St Mirren are decent, but we've got a reasonable home game. Let's give some guys an opportunity.
I think in the betting for next year's Champions League, they're second favourites at the moment, St Mirren.
Fantastic.
Listen, Juicy's right. We know that some of the players won the poor tonight, but there is positives to take for Alan McGregor's performance. And Liam King, I thought, stuck to his task well. Right in the last minute, he's closing down Salah and trying to make it hard for him. Boy gave us everything. Positive for Ben Davis. Looks as if he'll keep it simple, neat and tidy. Centre half, he's no frills, but it looks at Connor Golson showing a bit of form. After that, the other 7 who were meant to get forward and influence the game, they didn't do a lot. Bad night at office for some of them. Wrong choice maybe in hindsight, Jaffa.
Yeah, I think there was, Ox. I mean, as you say, hindsight's a great thing. You've got to put things into perspective as well. We are playing a top end Champions League team. We know the level goes up. There was a golfing class. A few of the pundits have stated tonight. But I don't think we helped ourselves. As I said, middle to front, for me, that's the bit where we were really poor tonight. We just didn't have enough players at it who were giving you 8 or 9s out of 10s, and I just don't think at that level you're going to get much out of the game. The scoreline's not as bad as it could have been, to be perfectly honest with you. 2-0, it's not the worst. Not when you look at across at the rest of the group. Ajax got walloped 6-1 at home tonight with Napoli.
Yeah, on that, if I may, share. Ox?
I think the thoughts for Jim was keep it and then bring on players to attack them. If we could have kept it maybe the first ever, maybe 70 minutes, then as the game opened up, maybe to have a goal with some pace. Obviously, we lost the goals that affected these tactics, but look, we had a goal with tactics that didn't work, but that's hindsight, Jimmy.
Is that me, Ox?
Yes, James, you carry on.
All right, okay. What was it? What was the question?
Am I having a nightmare here, Carol? I was saying
he's having a curry with Billy.
Let's all get into Billy's. Everybody, right? I'll give you the address. Everybody yourself through the Billy's. Right.
Billy's getting empty.
Keep it tight and then change the personnel. It didn't work.
Ox, can I ask you, do you think...
Oh, sorry. Were you asking me or what? Would you like me to comment? Would you like me to comment, Osher? Hello? Hello?
Still there, Jim?
Yes, I'm still here.
Still here. Jim, we were just saying there, sobering thought tonight for being played for a lot of the players on there. I think it was maybe it demonstrated how far some of them are off the mark. Guys like Malik Tillman, who I thought was miles off the game tonight.
Yeah. I think it's been commented on that a lot of people are thinking that Tillman was placed in the wrong position tonight, and that affected his play. And that might be true, but I still feel that Tillman did not help his game in any way, shape, or form, because he seemed to lack the pace to get into the game. It doesn't matter what position you play. You need to get involved in the game. And I felt that he didn't get himself involved in the game as much as he should have done. As far as Kent's concerned, with his flick out to the left-hand side, it was a bad pass for Barisic. And Kent is our most expensive player at $7 million. Now, in certain games in the Scottish Premier League, he shows up and he does some things pretty well, and he scored a fantastic goal at the weekend. But he's now playing in the Champions League, and it's very difficult when you're playing against really, really good players to come up to the mark. It's very difficult, you know, and you have to have a desire and team spirit between the players who've been playing regularly together, and they know where each player's going to be, and that's the makings of a good team that can pass the ball to each other, knowing where they're going to be and where they're going to move to. And at the moment, we've got a team that hasn't really got that in Europe. I think we've got it. I think we've got it in the Scottish Premier League. I think our passing ability in the Premier League's not too bad, But in Europe, we're up against it because in the Champions League we're playing against better teams,
And you come, Smith.
Yeah. Ox, I'm just going to check out, mate. I need to go. I'm away for a curry as well. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.
I'll see you, Billy's house in half an hour, right?
No bother.
Jaffa, what are you going for?
Yeah, I've been up for me, Ox.
Lamb?
Aye, lamb all day, aye, if that's what's left, aye.
Okay. All right. I mean, we're disappointed because we know we can play better, but we're also, let's be honest, again, juicy. Alan McGregor, man of the match, I think that says a lot as well, doesn't it?
We've just got to be realistic, and we knew this was going to be a really difficult match, potentially before any matches were played, potentially the hardest match in the group, although going away to Napoli in a few weeks doesn't fill me with optimism. But we weren't hammered tonight, but we also weren't really in the match. So McGregor was exceptionally good. And it's just a shame that we lost 2 set plays that ultimately cost us the match. But you've always got to look at positives, and McGregor was good. I think the substitutes were good, as I said at the top of the show. And I just want to take that into St Mirren now and make a few changes. I might want to rest a couple of players anyway. We've got a crazy schedule this month, Ox. We're going to need the squad. And particularly in the SPFL games, SPFL home matches is an opportunity to bring guys in and give them an opportunity. Sakala was decent tonight and did more in 9-10 minutes than Tillman was able to do in the whole match.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that Cholak will play on Saturday as far as I'm concerned. I would play maybe Sakala and Matondo, give him a chance. You've got Brian Jack come back into the team. If you play Lundstrom, there you go. Scotty Arfield might come back into the team, and all of a sudden you've refreshed the whole forward end of the pitch. I also think it'll be good if Connor and Ben Davis play again, because you're building up your understanding, Jaffa.
Yeah, that's definitely got promise on it. I mean, Ben Davis, I thought he just gives a good balance to that back line, Ox, with that left peg. It's amazing. I saw Hollander sitting in the back of the dugout tonight as well. I don't know, if he's back in training or if he was just in the pool. I'm not sure, but I saw Big Phil sitting there, and it just reminded me that that having that left-sided defender in the back of the team, how much of a balance it gives you. And you saw that again tonight. I mean, I know Ben Davis, he was certainly stroking the ball out for the back. A couple of his passes looked brilliant, and other ones, a few went astray, but at least he's still attempting them, and he's got that in his locker. I mean, that ball he played out on Saturday against Hearts for Matondo was an absolute belter of a ball for the second goal.
It was John Lundstrom. It's cost me a fortune.
Oh, was it John Lundstrom?
Aye. Albert, the amount of drink I'm going to have to buy him the next time I'm out with him. Yeah. My tab's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Aye, I get what you're saying. But look, just having a left footer in there helps, yeah. But I would play the two of them on Saturday because Connor's on this run, but he's getting better. That partnership hopefully can improve. But there's changes. Could be changes all over the park. Redvan could come in for Barisic. You never know. You never know, Juicy.
No, you never know. And I would just love to see Sands get an opportunity in the midfield as well. My biggest problem with this team at the moment, guys, is I feel our midfield isn't very fluid in its movement. We don't really have a lot of quick players in there. I feel they're all of a very similar type of player. Lundstrom, David.
Need pace, mate. We've need pace. Exactly. The fastest midfielder we've got is Glenn Kamara, right?
Yeah, and he potentially is away, potentially.
All right, I'll cut across you, Juicy. I think we've been joined by Christine. Evening, Christine.
Good evening, Austria. Good
How you
evening,
doing?
everybody that's on the panel.
Hi, Christine.
Right, you.
Yeah.
How we do? Get it off your chest, Christine.
When are you going to stop making excuses for this lot? They're an absolute joke. They're not playing for the jersey. They're just there to pick up a wage every week. This is getting beyond a joke. We went out and played them against Napoli, and we played no bad for 60 minutes against Napoli, who are a good side as well. You can't say, oh, we couldn't expect nothing tonight because Liverpool are a great side, blah, de blah, de blah. Liverpool have been playing rubbish lately. And we gave Napoli a brilliant game, and Napoli would go out tonight and umpire 6-1, and we're starting here making excuses for this. What is Gio up to? Why do you leave your top striker out to start in a game like that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And they're just no gel, they're just no playing together. And they don't know there's two halves to a park.
I think the trouble is that I think we need to get them tested to see if they're colourblind, because we've got a bad habit of passing the other team. Juicy, in you come.
I think Christian's got some good points there, Ox. I think one of the things that's frustrating for us is he's changed that team a lot. You know, you remember like previous seasons under Stevie, and even last season, you know, we had reasonable consistency with the starting lineups. It's getting chopped and changed all over the place, and I know some of that's got to do with injuries, and I know that doesn't always help. Christine's right about Cholak. He's been excellent, although a lot of people were wanting Alfredo to start this match. So there was a lot of conjecture from people about Cholak or Alfredo. You know, you and Iox, amongst others on here, were wanting to see both.
It didn't work. I would have started Morelos.
Yeah, it didn't work. I would still love to see them play together. I still think there's a way that you could put Alfredo behind him. But, you know, Cholak, he was still unlucky to not start. The guy's been amazing. He'll certainly start against St Mirren. We've got problem positions, Christine, haven't we? The right side, Tillman out of position, looked terrible. Kent is playing appallingly, and I want him dropped for the weekend.
You want to take the jersey off Ken altogether and put him in the B team, because he's not even earning a wage there, and he's not been doing it for the last 18 months. He's not been doing it because he's been in the huff too much lately.
What we need to do is get you in that dressing room and speak to him. But anyway, we'll come back to you, Christine. We've been joined by John. How are we doing, John?
Hi, no bother, Ox. How are you doing, mate?
Good, mate. Yourself?
I'm fine. Very disappointed, mate. I thought we put up a better fight than what it did, by the way. I don't know about the tactics and all the rest of it, but what a game McGregor had. I thought he was outstanding, man. We can really a barrel load against us.
I can't argue with that. That save he had in the second half, I mean, that's a 1-in-10 save. That one.
It was outstanding. It was outstanding, mate. You know something? I don't know. But I thought if Kent's won away for here, if he's won away for Ibrox, this is the game he should have started and played football. To me, I would drop him. In the next few games, I would even put Sakala or Matondo in that position, because that made a change when they took him on. I don't know you, the final thing to yourself.
I don't think anybody's arguing that. I thought, listen, Ryan Kent, good goal on Saturday, set up a goal tonight, poor. Decision making, poor. Desire, poor. Attitude, poor. Pace, distribution, poor. Jaffa.
Yeah, John, I thought when Sakala and Jack came on in the 66th minute, I think it was, they came on, I thought there was a bit of a change in the right-hand side. I thought we got a bit of control in the middle of the park there. I think that's why Sakala was getting forward. And they were a bit braver on the ball. And then ultimately when Matondo came on, it changed the dynamic. And going back to Christine's point, there was there was probably a lot of people, Christine, were wanting Morelos to start the night, pure and simply for one reason and one reason only. Čolak, you can't deny it. Čolak's an absolute ball. He's a goal-scoring finisher. But Čolak does all his best work inside the box, Christine. And we weren't going to get a lot of balls in the box tonight. That's just a fact of life. We weren't. And I think that's why Gio picked him. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that's why he picked him. I for one as well, I wanted Morelos, but Morelos couldn't hold the ball up. I mean, the ball was bouncing off every part of his anatomy, and he couldn't control anything that was bouncing off his elbows.
It was rubbish, Jaffa. It was rubbish. It was brutal.
It was, as I said, going back, Ox, middle to front, we just didn't do enough tonight. We didn't help the defence out. That's why we kept getting wave after wave in the first half, and why it looked so we were penned in, and that wasn't the case. We just weren't getting the ball out, and we weren't holding it up in the middle of the park, which ultimately meant we couldn't get the guys in the front. And the passing was dreadful. It was awful.
They were giving the ball away too much as well.
Aye. I'll tell you another thing I couldn't understand. And see, particularly when it was nothing each, and I'll go to Christine when I said this is what we knocked the ball about to the back, and I think Steve McManaman commented it on the commentary. And instead of pushing my team up the park and clearing the ball and seeing when it took truth, we put ourselves under pressure by making a wrong decision. Davis to Barisic back to Davis, took to Golson, King, and then Tavernier, and then we were going back the way. And it ends up with Alan McGregor booting up the park, whereas we can take our team, move it up the park and see what happens. I know it's no pretty football, Juicy, but there's a bit of common sense in it.
Exactly, Ox. It felt like to me that we didn't really want the ball. It was like they there, and there was no kind of composure, and you could see that from quite early on. And starting the back five, okay, that's fine, but when you've conceded after 7 minutes, whether it was a set play or an open play, it doesn't matter. It's got to change your game plan. We're still sitting there with a back five, not really taking any of the ball or mopping anything up or creating anything or creating outlets. I don't understand why we didn't put more men in the middle. They had 4 players who were playing really high up.
4 against 2. It was 4 against 2 times, mate, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Listen, we've reached that time of the evening, and listen, Christine, thanks for your call. Great points you made, yeah?
Okay, but without McGregor tonight, and I think a lot of the fans on McGregor are big fans of you tonight, because that could have been a cricket score tonight without him.
He was outstanding. He was. John, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, mate. Last word for your good self, Jaffa.
Yeah, Ox, thanks for having us on. Disappointing result, but we move on. Big game on Saturday. Got to get myself back up for it, Ox. That's just the name of the game.
You hear, Juicy?
Yes, we've got a good opportunity for a victory at the weekend, guys. Let's get back into it, and plenty more fixtures this month.
Yeah. Listen, thanks for everybody called in. Thanks for the people who tried to get in, we couldn't bring in because time's getting on. Thanks to Juicy and Jaffa for joining us here on the show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night, and I'm sure we'll dissect the game. Thanks for listening. Look after yourself. Safe journey up the road for all the Bears. Take it away, Old School Blue.